Next at 6:30, our team coverage of the border continues.
After declaring a state of emergency and activating the National Guard, Governor Doug Ducey at the border today calling for the federal government's help to pay for it, while both our senators are supporting Ducey's actions. Some community leaders who work with migrants daily say they aren't part of this conversation.
Investigator Liliana Soto gives them a voice, picking up our team border coverage.
The roundtable was held in this building in Yuma. Martin Porchas was inside, but he wasn't at the meeting. Porchas, a Democratic Yuma County supervisor, says he was steps away, locked out of a meeting that he calls the most important his hometown has seen in years.
It's been going on since for the last four and a half years. Normally, if the governor shows up or any other, I would say, Republican that shows up that wants to go to the border, we are never invited.
In today's press conference, the governor said,
"This affects all of our counties, and not just in Arizona, not just Maricopa County."
So why were most of Yuma County's voices ignored today?
Cochise County.
Yuma has 5 county supervisors. 3 are Democrat. None of them were invited. So is this a political move?
If they really think it's an issue or a crisis, my take would be that you want everybody sitting at the table that can, be able to work together or help. I don't think they think like that. So it must not really be an issue, and it's more of a political thing.
The city of Yuma is not on the border, but the Republican mayor was invited. To give you some perspective, San Luis and Somerton are closer to the border. San Luis Mayor Gerardo Sanchez, a Democrat who's been very outspoken about border issues, was invited.
The city of San Luis has been on survival mode, I call it, for the past 4 years.
The mayor for Somerton, who thinks the opposite, wasn't. Politics aside, someone who's also asking why they weren't invited is a nonprofit that's been assisting Border Patrol since February.
Lo que pudiera ayudar es que tuviera una diferente perspectiva, ¿verdad? En cuestión de escuchar de todas las diferentes organizaciones.
Emma Torres is the executive director of Campesinos Sin Fronteras. They're housing asylum seekers and helping them with transportation to shelters. She says they don't know if there are less people crossing in April than March, but they went from helping 60 migrants daily to 30 this month. The big factor, she says, there's more help now.
Ha habido bastante respuesta del gobierno en cuestión de apoyo.
Border Patrol Yuma sector just opened a 90,000 square foot facility to process migrants, including unaccompanied children. Torres says resources are here, so they wonder if the National Guard would make any difference. Customs and Border Protection's data shows the number of migrants crossing usually drops after March.
If you look at the seasonal data going back several years, we actually have decades of this data, you can see that there's a typical pattern in which the numbers do start to fall off in most years from March to April, and that does continue on throughout the rest of the summer. These numbers we saw in March were so high, so much of an outlier. We do not know if we're going to see a major drop in the numbers or if it's just sort of going to be a small step down.
Governor Ducey said for now, the National Guard will concentrate here in Yuma County. But sources inside Border Patrol say the help is needed in the Tucson sector, where there's been reportedly 50,000 people who got away. Liliana Soto, ABC 15, Arizona.